Greetings, everyone. Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. If you're interested in the truth, this is the place to be. If you're not, you probably won't want to be here. All right. I'll get into a few things, why, and this, that, and the other thing. But I just want to say a couple of starters before we get into it all. All right. If you're going into the chat room, please ask questions pertaining to the topic, whatever we're talking about. Please, I'm asking that. I have a lot of people coming after me now, so I'm not claiming like Stephen Greer that the government's coming after me and all that kind of stuff. Just people that don't like anything I say. That's fine. That's their choice. But what I want to start with is the title, Dealing with Lies. Lies about God. All right. Now, how about God's truth? I have not heard anything in my lifetime of anyone talking about a real God in any detail. I mean, sure, there's a God and things like that, but I hope I don't have problems with my guy over there. Problems with, what people say. People say, I talk to God and things like that. I deal with them all. I'll face them anytime, anywhere, online, in the live debate. All right, but people, I'm not doing this to make money. I'm not doing this to get fame, fortune, any of that. I pay to do the show, and I only do it to put the truth out there, because there are people that are needing it or wanting it. Not many. Most people are happy with the lies they've been programmed with. It's not beneficial, and it's not going to help them. All right, but in the interim, we deal with a lot of people on my show coming and going. I've been doing shows. Stop it, Mr. Giz. Doing shows for a long time. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I hope my little guy keeps quiet for a little bit. So, what I want to get into right away. People that are claiming that they're a psychic healer, this, that, and the other thing, they try to prove it. And you know how they get proof? They get one person to say, oh, yeah, they healed me. And then it's kind of like a mind programming where other people start accepting it and believe it and accept the programmed idea. No person on this planet today has the ability to heal another person. When a psychic works with a person or a healer, they're working with that person's energy. That person has to give their energy over to that person to allow them to heal them. And then they believe it because they don't believe in themselves. That's why they go into a healer. All right, people. I'm going to get into 3 phases. All right. 1, the beginning of life, the middle of life, and the ending of life. The 3 phases everybody goes through, and everybody gets programmed, put into place, not beneficial, because it starts when they're born. I'm going to go into it little by little. I don't know how much I'm going to get into everything I want to today, but I will try to get through as much as I can. I'm not going to try to take too much time on each. Anybody that has serious questions pertaining to something I didn't get to or don't get to, please email me, Skype me, either one, whichever you prefer. I like talking rather than typing. All right. The beginning of birth. How's it happen? What is it about? Why? All right. Now, you can hear stories, and I'm going to just give you the simplest truth that I can. All right. When a baby's born, soul steps into it. All right. It's not like soul is growing inside the body. And let me say this before I get into that. I did hypnosis when I started at 14. I did past life regression, and I did psychic implant removals. I learned a lot by doing that. But I also was a high priest from 16. All right. And I did white magic, not black magic. All right. During that time frame, I worked with 2 different deities in my life when I was younger. They're real. All right. I work with an angel. They're real. I'm saying I met an alien. Not going to say they're good, but they are real. Bigfoot is real. I was standing a foot away from one. So all the things they're trying to make you believe that sound like, oh, it's fake, oh, it's a phenomena. No, it's real. But I'm not going to get into that into detail until the end if I have time. But okay, when you're born, like I said, two souls can't occupy the same space. When you do exorcisms, you'll realize that. Soul has to step out so that the spirit can talk through them or in them or whatever, however you want to look at it. But what I learned that and I'm going to go on beyond 99% of the hypnotists on the planet know. When you hypnotize a person, you hypnotize all the energy around them. You hypnotize all the beings around you as well. All of them want to talk. So when you get anything, 90% is coming from a being, an entity that just wants to talk. They'll say things that you want to hear, but they'll say things that they know, or the only things they know. And I proved it over and over. When I was 14, I met a woman, young lady at the time, who was considered and rated the top psychic by the New York Psychic Center. And she was my closest friend at that time. And we started with a seance. And then it went into her channeling. She was a medium. And I worked with her for a couple of years. I can go into that whole story. We went to the Juma Mansion, George Washington's first home, headquarters, and all that, where the people died. I'm not going to get into all that because I want to help you understand where you are right now, what things need to be done if you really want to start a spiritual path, move forward, and start understanding the truth about life and death. When I say you get born, how's it happen? God says so? No, two people decide to make a child. All right, and it's becoming less than that even now with science. But two people agree on something or disagree on something and still create a child. But as that child's being born, soul steps into it. Now, in the old days, there was a lot of crib deaths. And that meant children that were being born had no soul ready to step in that child's karma. Everything being born in a particular place and things like that is considered karma. Well, I'm born in Africa, I'm born in Jersey, I'm born in New York, I'm born around the planet anywhere. I'm born on the moon or another planet. All that has to do with karma. Based on your karma of your past life or lives. We all had hundreds, people. If you base it on the first time you came down into this realm, and you base it on the average lifetime of 100 years, look where we are now. Atlantis was the beginning, and you could judge it from there, and that's over 100,000 years ago. But there are multiple lives here, aliens in different forms. I don't talk about them. We're not talking about them now. We're talking about humans. All right. I'll go back to the beginning when man was brought here, but I just want to explain about birth. Soul steps into the body. It's different awareness than the mind. I mean, a child can see light, can do a lot of things, see beings and entities and all that kind of stuff when they're young, because they're not programmed yet. And as the soul moves on in childhood, they start becoming aware of these things. All right. And that means you start seeing things that you don't believe because you're programmed them not to. And what happens to children is based on their parents. Meaning, oh, that's the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, the fairy godmother, and naturally the boogeyman. Children hear this. Their mind has no perception, and they see something in their room or something. All right. They'll just assume that it's the boogeyman, and it's not the boogeyman, but it is there. But parents don't really even know that it's really there. But as years go on, they take away all the programmed ideas they gave to their child. Oh, Santa Claus isn't real. The Easter Bunny's not real. The Tooth Fairy's not real. But God is. All right. So, a child has to take all these lies, wash them away, and accept one of the other ones that the person that's saying it truly doesn't even believe themselves, really. Most people are afraid of death, but we're not getting to that point yet. We're still at birth and growing in the childhood days. You start school and you get more programs. I know from my life what I was into, what I did, what I experienced. I don't say I'm lucky. I don't say I'm not lucky. I just call it what it is. Help me attain where I am right now. And to me, I'll word it later. I'm a reverend. I did exorcisms. I did things that you have to, quote, legally become what? A minister, a rabbi, a preacher. How do you become that? Does God come down and whack you on the head and say, now you're this or that? No, it's man's programmed ideas. The Pope himself is another one of the big liars on the planet. And he's trying to create his own religion. He came out with, there is no hell, because we're living in it. He also came out with saying Adam and Eve was a fake story. It's a twisted story. Because if you read it 10 times right now, you'll see there's lies in what the supposedly gods are saying. And it's a plural. Because when God talks, he uses the word our, O-U-R. That's not God, that's our, meaning what? Plural. And then he even talks about the animals, our kind. And it's all a twisted story how aliens started reprogramming humans to believe that woman came out of man is another false idea. I mean, the Pope said it was fake, but it is fake that way. Humans were brought here. 9 races, different colored, were all brought here in Atlantis. All right. And I'll tell you straight out, I'm aware of all my lifetimes. Well, 99% of them probably, including Atlantis, and watched it. I left as it was going down. I know people that actually stayed when it went down. All right. A famous person, famous people. So it's not just my story. Many people have very little awareness of the whole story when you're in a past life and everything that happened. You don't remember everything, but you need to remember the main points, why and how you died. Because you're going to experience that over and over in this lifetime, next lifetime. People don't talk about karma much. They don't want to deal with it. Or you'll create karma, but they don't talk about creating it and removing it. I'll go into a short story in a second. But, I said I work with deities. Deities I call little gods. There's over 100. But only 3 of them are extremely important. It may sound weird, but I mean, the Hinduism was the first religion on the planet. And then it became Buddhism because they split and went up into the mountains, and Buddhism became real. But they changed the deities they were working with. One deity, famous through both, Green Tara, I worked with when I was 6 years old until I was about 13. And I never knew who it was until I was 25, as I started studying with a Tibetan master. All right. Who was probably the most powerful person on this planet I knew at that time, or even up to the present. And I could tell you, when we walked down the street, people would just move. He was dark-skinned, kind of built really big and strong, but he radiated energy, incredible energy. And I only met a few people in this world that could do that. But he was one of them, so I studied with him for years. All right. It's a horrible story, the ending and everything else, but I learned what I had to learn. And you may have to walk through the fire, the darkness, to find the truth. And people will attack you. Once you find light of your own soul, everything's going to be pulled toward it. So when you got a child that's seeing demons and stuff, I worked with that for a couple of years. I could do something really simple, and they could just never see the demon or thing in their room again, ever. But, parents in general have no clue how to protect how to protect their child. They don't even know what the word protection means. If you go out to drink, party, and do drugs and things like that, you come home, that energy is there and it affects your child. People don't deal with that. Oh, when they're pregnant, well, so what? The baby doesn't know. It does. It starts affecting the energy of the child. So when soul steps into it, it has all this karma already. And it's used to it. But the mind and soul are different. A child's more soul than mind and being programmed to become mind and forget soul. So by the time they're graduating grade school and start going into the higher grades, their programs are pretty well rooted within them. What religion they have to be, what they're supposed to be when they grow up, and all those kind of words already. Everything on this planet's programming. Now, people that believe ancient writings and ancient hieroglyphics, you know what? They're all lies. All through history, no one ever talked about a real God. No one. The Egyptians, the Mayans, the Aztecs, there's a couple other native tribes as well, never dealt with a God. Native people don't. They even say they work with the star beings, which was the Greys. But in the ancient times, they worked with aliens. Deities came and actually worked through Hinduism and Buddhism for a period of time. Most of them left. You don't see any deities walking around anymore, anywhere. Anybody talking about, oh, they just came down my street, or they're going to destroy a city and things, what they did in those time frames. Well, I'll say I work with one of the most powerful deities that was ever here on this planet, and his name was Shiva. All right. I work with another deity called Durga, and that deity is a female, and she's one of the highest deities. She and him and her, there's three, Manjushri, I work with, but he wasn't a high deity. But you'll learn, and you can learn things you'll never learn anywhere on this planet. Because to become spiritual, to become aware, to become whatever these people claim, you're not going to learn it on planet Earth. DNA, chemistry, creating. No, that's nothing. You're creating in a world of energy. I mean, now they're going to clone humans and animals and creatures and all that kind of stuff together. And this is no lie. Hitler and Stalin were working with Bigfoot, and they were trying to clone it into an army creature. And it's fact. And I'm not making it up. They got pictures and videos and things of that. But it became a killer. And they actually had to kill it. One of them anyway. But you know, in Jersey, I knew people that were dealing with a place. There's a base in New Jersey, which was the first army base in the United States, Picatinny Arsenal. They did things there beyond imagination when I was younger. But when I got older, they created, I think it was 6. I'm not sure how many they actually created. I mean, I couldn't count them or nothing like that. Super giant beings, right? Who knows what they did with them? But the laboratory was the most incredible laboratory probably on the planet at that time, well, in the United States anyway. And when I was there, they said, well, they're closing Picatinny Arsenal. They had no money. And like 2 weeks later or something, they were given millions of dollars and everything else. But, you know, when you have friends, you have to learn to trust them. Or you got to make sure that you can trust them. Because people like to talk, people like to create stories and make stories better. Children, on the other hand, aren't storytellers until they're forced to be. I mean, if you're going to tell the truth, which you should always teach your child, and then you beat them, hit them, punish them, they think about telling the truth anymore. And nowadays, elder people, adults, you tell me the truth. Did you steal from my house? Yeah, I'll beat you and whatever. It becomes violent. It's nothing new. It's been all through history. So getting back to a child that reaches middle age and like graduate in high school, now they got a choice to go out into the real world or go into college and spend more time learning false, helpful information. And unless you want to be a chemist, nuclear physicists and things like that and play with formulas and numbers, that's your choice. But it has nothing to do with saving the planet. Nobody here is saving the planet. Nobody was here to save the planet. Now, information that you all should know, because Mr. Musk is creating a horrible world. Oh, well, he's talking about saving the world and saving mankind and all this stuff by going to Mars. But people, Tesla worked with an alien race. He created 200 inventions, 50 of them the most deadliest weapons on the planet, which he gave to the United States government. And they have become the destruction to the world. Now, I'm going to go into that a little bit. Not that I want to keep us in that phase, because nobody talks about it. Tesla worked with DuPont. He worked up in Wanacue, New Jersey. All right. But aliens went in and out of there. In the reservoir, they went in and out of it for 9 months. The government surrounded it and watched it. But Tesla was working with DuPont, and they were talking about antifreeze, and they had to remake it. They didn't remake anything. They just charged more for it. But during that time frame, he gave all those inventions to the government. The government created him. And that's how the whole Philadelphia story was created. Now, the most dangerous weapon that will ever be is called the time travel machine. I don't know if you watched the movies about it or watched anything about that, what Tesla was doing when he was working on that. All right. And then the Montauk Project came out of the Philadelphia experiment. All that changed our reality greatly. Even Einstein did not have a clue about going through time forward and backwards. He said we could only go one way. He didn't even know. Why? He admitted in his personal notes that he worked with an alien race. But they were playing with him. A lot of the stuff he said is wrong. I mean, he stole a lot of stuff when he was working from his brain with other countries, but he worked with an alien race who gave him a lot more false information, and they made him one of the most, brains on the planet, really? Well, now Tesla is different because he worked with an alien race physically. He was given all his inventions. He didn't go to high school and then college and then come out and create 200 inventions, including time travel. Right? He created an earthquake machine in 1900, which was given to the government. He almost leveled the whole square block in New York City and had to break in and shut his machine off. People, he's not a good person. He said in his end time, before he died, people will not use his stuff wisely, which they won't and they can't, because man is always thinking about war. Weapons mean war, and war means power. So whoever's the most powerful person is the most powerful warrior. And that existed ever since Atlantis was destroyed. So now the child's in college, if he's going there, getting more programs about nothing. Nothing about life, nothing about soul, nothing about God. My brother went to a Catholic college, and they got one class teaching about religion, and then they got another class teaching how it's not true. So that's how much a Catholic college is useful for nothing. So people, when you have children and they're ready to do something, what do you want to do in life? What are you going to teach them? Nothing. How to become the best doctor, the best lawyer, and the more money a person has, the more power they get, the sicker they become. Anyone on this planet with lots of money will never attain spiritual realization. And the two words you need to learn, self-realization and God-realization. Oh, I'm self-realized. What? You know that you're here? Do you know what connection that has to do with God? Oh, yeah, we're all one. I'm going to get into that too. But I got to try to keep an eye on time and see how much I can get in today. All right. Man's programmed over and over by every speaker out there that they're important. No one on this planet is important. We live in hell. Important to what? Making it better? No one is making this world better, really. The way I talk about it, it's simple. Mankind makes toys, and all they do is make them better. From the first car to the car now. Look at Tesla's car even. A bulletproof, bomb-proof car. I mean, that's where he's going. He just released it, $90,000. All right. I mean, China came out with a car cheaper too. But people, where do you think we're going? Toys are just toys. They have nothing to do with you dying, nothing to do with your soul, nothing to do with God. Now they're going to be releasing flying cars, what, by 2025? Yeah, let's put a drunk in a plane car and let him fly around over us. We're creating the worst disasters on top of the worst disasters. The weapons we play with are different. We don't need nuclear bombs. There's a proton bomb, neutron bomb, electron bomb, the hydrogen bomb. They all, do different things. Do you know the difference? Do you really know the difference? Well, my brother was a chemist. I learned a lot. But he only told me recently because he abided by the laws that people in the government, in the Army, in the Navy, and the Marines have to live by. You can't say a word. So when whistleblowers come out, when did they come out? 25, 50 years later? You know why? Mankind has lost the word, I'll say it, balls. Because they don't have, oh, well, I'll lose my job or this will happen. I don't care about the rest of the world. I can't tell them. I don't want to stop it from happening. The whole UFO world has been super active since the 50s. And we got all these UFO people going, oh, let's tell the truth what the government did. They can't tell the world what they did and what they're doing. First off, and when Stephen Greer goes, it's illegal. No, what government does in war is not illegal. People, whether you want to believe that or not, Michael Salla lived in Hawaii, and I harassed him a couple of times, just facing him. He moved away from Hawaii. All he did was attack our government. I said, go back to your country. Go back to Australia. Attack them. They got the biggest army base on the planet, and nobody knows much about it. Not even the people that live there. People, you want the truth, listen to these people, you'll never get it. Read all their books, you'll never get it. When you hear the stories of Enoch and all those stories, they're great stories. Or the giants. Well, there were giants here. That doesn't mean anything important. The pyramids are here. So what? People, the ancient aliens have been dealing with that for 15 years. Now they're showing more UFOs. But again, what do they say? Well, it could be, I think. We don't need that wording anymore. We don't need it. The pyramids didn't help any race survive. What do we think? It's going to help us but bring energy to the planet and make it better, right? No, it's not. And it never did. Aliens have programs that they fed us right after Atlantis was destroyed. The first program that was fed to the human race was killing. Mankind then didn't eat animals. We didn't kill each other. We didn't have to use words even half of the time. It was different because it was the Garden of Eden, which never came back since. And we're not going to go through it anytime soon. All right, somebody's big site coming up, and we're going to go into it next year, this year, and everything else. No, we're not. Not even close. We can't. The karma of the planet is really destructive. And the time frame creates karma as well as you do, because mankind creates all the energy and everything that the earth is dealing with. Global warming is man's problem who actually created it. All right. Now, when we talk about Mr. Rumpo, he said there's no such thing as global warming because he has no brain. He doesn't understand anything. Scientists will talk about global warming. Every one of them will. They'll admit it. When Al Gore, I hope that's the right name, came out with the word global warming, he made a lot of money off the word. They talk about it, talk the effects of it. Nobody in government, in the emails you get about saving the earth, saving plants, saving animals, talk about the truth behind it. It is all being created by government. Oh, how is that possible? If you knew what they were using, you would understand it. But simple words you heard, fracking, geothermal, is words you should know what it actually is, what it does, and how it works. The HARP system, well, was the most dangerous weapon on the planet, which Tesla created. A friend who I knew personally worked on it. He did a show with Jesse Ventura the day after he was found dead in his hotel room. But in the beginning of the show, he goes, Jesse goes, aren't you afraid the government's going to come after you? He goes, no, I work for the government. What about me? Don't worry, you're too high. The next day, he was dead in the hotel room. Fred Bell, important person who wrote an incredible book. Look online, pull it up. Now, his book explains everything because he worked on a UFO. He worked on a HARP system. He was called in at 14. All right? A great guy. He wasn't a bragger. He wasn't like that kind of person that would go out and brag like his other friends, which I the stronger the ego of the planet's going to become. Now, the battlefield is the Constitution of the United States. Children go to school. They don't learn anything about true Native history. They don't learn about the truth about the Constitution. They don't learn anything truth about all the wars with the Native people. They learn a couple of lies. All right. I studied Native teachings for a long time. I was on a reservation for a while. People, the truth's out there, but the Native people don't even have it. When they say they work with the Greys never help them. They don't help people. They're trying to survive. That's why they're taking everything and not giving us anything back. The reptilian race is different. They're just warring creatures. Sad part, many alien races love eating humans, and that's a fact. And the UFO world doesn't talk about that ever. But just to my amazement, David Wilcock came out last week or the week before saying he just found out that aliens truly eat people. I was shocked when he said it. I was blown away. I said, for him to come out and say that, Mr. Spiritual everything, he claims he's the rainbow body and all these other lies. People have no clue when they use a word. He has no clue what rainbow body is. All right? He had Danny Kaysen on, Danny Brinkley, sorry. And he told him, oh, you're in your rainbow body. No, you're not. The rainbow body is your soul when it leaves the body. But I don't want to get into that either. There's everything you know and believe is a lie. Why are you here? What do you tell your children? What's important to them? What should be important to them? Having children, taking care of their children? Well, we have so many people on the planet, 8 million people, 8 billion people. And sadly to say, over 60% of them are starving, homeless. And you call that human race? And we're fighting over what? Territory, religion. But that's based on a false God. I mean, even to say God says we have to kill them all. When did God ever say that? Who did God ever say that to? Nobody. Ever. God doesn't come into this realm, people. It doesn't need to, and it doesn't want to, and it doesn't have to. It created deities and angels for that reason. All right. When you pray, who are you praying to? God? Hey, God, save the world. Did God listen to that word? Create world peace. Did God listen to that word? Oh, you're protected. Really? From what? You're going to die within 125 years. You'll probably see, if you live that long, you're going to see half of your family die. You're probably going to see your children die. You're going to see a lot of things if you believe that. God's not to protect the people, not bodies in hell. It doesn't come here for that reason. The vibration here that the government and everybody else says, this is the best vibration. This is the healing vibration. You know what? Your ego? Children are being programmed every day with this knowledge. And it's all false. All the ancient writings, the Egyptians had no clue about reincarnation, even though they got the hieroglyphics trying to show what they believe reincarnation to be. Everything they did was against what really happens when you die and when you reincarnate. And this person believes it, and then they tell a story and they write books on it. Sorry, it's all lies, people. Just about everything you believe in. Out of 2,000 religions, 2 of them talk about God. All right? And they don't get into the true aspect of God because they're programmed with the idea that God's the loving God. Okay, if I was your father, and I like to see all your friends get run over by cars and beat up and raped and abused, would I be a good father? I doubt it. To say that God's a loving, caring God, it isn't. But it's not dealing with us. It gave us that ability to think and function and do what we want. And that's why we're in hell, people. We'll play and make more horrible toys, more weapons, and we probably will destroy the planet. Tesla's stuff will help it happen much faster. Now, an ex-friend of mine, we went to a place where he did some work, but it was a vortex that Mr. Tesla opened up. And it was a danger because it allowed all these negative entities to come into this reality. And are they beneficial? Of course not. Do they help anybody? No. The Pope himself had to hire 1,500 people a couple of years ago to do exorcisms. Why? Because if you're doing an exorcism on a person that was dealing with an alien, you think the alien's going to leave because you said, "In the name of Jesus, be gone." Aliens don't care. Their belief systems are so different. You're programmed by your belief system what you believe to be true. So as these children grow and get out of college, what are they going to do? Well, I got to be a banker. I got to be a shoemaker. I got to be a house builder. I got to be this. I got to be that. And then what? I got to have children. Oh, I got to buy a nice house. I got to buy a nice car. Where's spiritual in any of that? Well, it's not. All right. People don't understand what life's about. And then what's even worse, death. You're all going to die, people. You should know that, and I'm sure you realize that. What will happen when that happens? God's going to protect you, and what? Make you an angel? People, you don't become an angel when you die either. Angels are angels. They don't reincarnate into a human body, people, if you want to know the truth. Once you find one, work with them. They'll teach you everything you need to know, what you're able to understand and accept. Not lies, not telling you to go out and shoot lightning bolts and make the world better. You can't. I mean, that phrase, you can take a horse to water, you can't make him drink. God knows that. That's why we stay here until we're ready to leave. Permanently. Reincarnation will exist forever. Because there'll always be souls thinking they're better. But you know, when children are told the Big Bang Theory and things like that, even, I'm going to say it wrong, Michael Kaku, whatever, who's a scientist, claims that even at the beginning, some point had to be intelligent, which goes against basically a Big Bang and then everything was here. Another lie, another program lie, the black hole. They have no clue what it really is. Oh, we'll go from here to there. No, it's a lot worse than that. CERN, which people probably don't even know, CERN, said they shut the doors recently because of a problem, but they were trying to create a black hole by crashing 2 atoms together. You know what an atom smasher is? It produces what it produces. All right, they were trying to crash 2 atoms together to create a black hole. They said they created a small black hole. Really? And then they closed the doors down. But they had spacesuits and everything ready to jump through it and try to go. There's vortexes opening. And I'm not even going to get into that because it's another danger. Playing with the world. And when they say, oh, I went to the higher worlds, no. You're dealing with the realms of this reality. It's called Earth, right? And in our universe and galaxy. That's the first reality. That's the first realm. But within that, there's 3 realms. And it's not like first, second, and third dimension, all right, or 6th dimension. No, they're realms separate. But within each one of those realms, there's 3 realms, and that's where you get 369. And that's what the importance to it really meant, all right? But you don't go past the astral plane. And there's a way that you go past the astral plane, and it's simple. You got to go past the 3 gods that control the astral plane. And they do. You don't go into the mental plane or 3rd plane until you can pass them. And nobody else can tell you how to do it. Guess you got a lot of work to do, a lot of work to understand and find out the truth, which you probably won't in this lifetime, because you probably, if you were here, probably already left. And if you still are here, I give you credit, because most people hear it. Oh, I can't deal with that. Oh, no, that's not true. Well, I'm coming from my heart, from my truth, from God itself, what it showed me. All right, not on planet Earth, but in its realm. But what I'm going to say here is 2 things a child should be learning. I'm sorry I go backwards and forwards and twist and bring things together. But when I was with some friend of mine, a couple, and we were going to create a spiritual school, bringing these people together was a nightmare. All of them fought with each other. Anytime you bring spiritual people together that say they are, they start fighting. Go to the Whole Life Expos. One religion here, one religion over there, and they're both attacking each other. You know, that's not the way you move forward. Thinking a country's better than another country. We can't move forward. And the old phrase, my God's better than your God. Well, because neither one of you have the same God. Neither one of you have a God. You have an idea. Killing is not related to God. All right? Even though we may think it is. Or people, religions believe it. But when we start unfolding, which is the first step, how do you do that? Well, a child should be learning that when they're little. And they can become spiritually aware and find out God realization by the time they leave this world. But they won't. Who is teaching them? I'm open to battle anybody in any religion, no matter how high they say they are, including the Pope. Put them all together. The Pope, Dalai Lama, Eckhart Tolle, Deepak Chopra, all of them claiming to be the best. Now, I'm going to say this over and over because it's one of the most important things Jesus did say. For real. People, this is for the rich people, not the poor people. It's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich person to get into heaven. Why would he say that over and over? Because it's true. Money corrupts the mind. A corrupted mind gets a strong ego. With a strong ego, you create your self-power. Thinking you are. Thinking you're better. You think rich people want to live next to poor people? They won't even give them money to survive. Never mind live next to them. Realize why the Constitution was created. First off, they had to kill as many Native people, which was 50 million. At the same time, I can go into more detail about George Washington than probably any other book that's out there. Why? I said I work with the top psychic and medium. We went to the Juma Mansion in New York City, which was the first home built in New York City. George Washington built his headquarters there. More people died, well, not more people, but a lot of people died there, even in the house. When he left it to Samuel Jumel, who married Madame Jumel. And I'll tell you something that nobody wrote about. She was George Washington's legitimate daughter. And that's why she stayed in the house. We found secret passages. We worked in that house for 2 years. We were going to do a movie. And then suddenly the medium I was working with, her husband came down on her, forbid her to do it, and it all crashed. But we met with 20th Century Fox, and we were going to do the movie. Everybody had their roles and everything. He says, I'm not going to let you be part of that. And it all ended. That part of it. And she had to give up being a medium. But like I said, she proved everything she said. All right, to me, like I said, we work together. But I haven't found somebody that powerful that claims that kind of stuff in this reality so far. I know people think they're powerful, say they're powerful. All right, for powerful people that think they're powerful, we become gifted as we become aware. Now, you only get 32 psychic abilities when you attain ascension. Nobody on this planet today has attained it. Nobody. And you hear all these people claiming they went through it, they are. No, they can't levitate a car. They can't levitate it. Well, Caroline Corey in the UFO world claims she can levitate a piece of paper. Well, all right. But again, the abilities that you get when you attain that are 32. Jesus had 32 psychic abilities. Never used half of them because he went through ascension. The only other person through history that I know that actually went through it was Mary Magdalene. And the reason why I say that, she's the only one that was able to finish teaching the disciples. And Jesus wasn't here to teach them how to ask for protection and all those kind of false lies that Jesus took their sins away. Even Buddha talked about karma and things more so than that. You create something, it doesn't disappear until you pay it off. There's different ways to pay things off, yes. But you have to pay it off yourself. You can't go to your bank, take out money, well, I'm going to pay this debt off. Yeah, you can pay your money debt off, but you don't pay your karma debt off. And that's why Jesus said it a couple of times in the Bible. But realize how many rich people were alive when he was alive. Realize the people that he dealt with were very, I don't want to say dumb, stupid, ignorant, all those kind of words. But they were farmers, they were fishermen. And most of them couldn't write. They didn't understand words like dimension or God. A 3-letter word, if you pull it up in the dictionary today, has very little written about it. Because nobody, in general, around this planet experienced it. Well, I experienced God. Wow. Well, the blue light came over me. Really? There's a light that comes down from God and a light that goes back to God. And you can step into that. When Buddha talked about becoming into the light stream and become one, that's what it was. But you're not becoming one with every single soul that's here. The cells that are here are sick. They need to be reformed, changed, and all those kind of words. Mass murderers have to get reformed on the astral plane before they can even come back here. So, the twisted morals and teachings of people is so horrible. It's mind-boggling. And they believe it. They believe all those lies. Tell your son why he's here. Tell him. Tell him why he's going to die. Tell him where he's going to go. Tell him what he's going to do after he dies and leaves this body. Oh, we're all going to sit together with my family on the astral plane and smoke and party and have cupcakes. Really? For how long? Even if it was true, how long would you want to do that? Forever? For infinity? For eternity? You have multiple lifetimes, people. Family after family after family. You have children lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. Do you care about any of them? No. You don't even remember them or know them. And all you care about is the present. Well, the present, and like deep totally, the present moment. Yeah, well, what about it? You're not going nowhere. You're stuck in limbo. It's not easy to move forward spiritually, people. I don't even say I'm spiritual. Why? When you attain spiritual realization, you don't need to stay in hell. And why would you? All right, I should get into that. I don't know how far down the road that I put it that I wanted to get into it. All right, let's go to that point because I think I want to get that in today no matter what. You might think they're important, but who told you that? And why do you believe it? All right, God created a path to the higher realms. You don't ever become God, but you can get close to it. But just like school, first, second, third grade, up to eighth grade, and then you go into high school. But it's the same with the inner worlds. When you leave your body, the first place you go is to the astral plane. Some souls are able to be shown one or two worlds beyond that. But that doesn't mean they're going to attain it when they die either. Everything you do from this day to the next creates or removes karma. Now, that being said, what are you doing today to get rid of karma? I don't know. What are you doing to create it? Well, I beat somebody up. Yeah, that's one way. But now, let's go on. Okay, I don't know if you read the Bible, care about the Bible. I'm not a religious person per se, but Jesus was the most spiritual person that ever walked this planet. But in Revelations, written by John, nobody reads it. Read it 3 times, and I promise you'll have a totally different awareness of whatever you believe right now. John tells it straight out what sins can't be forgiven. Christianity doesn't talk about that ever. Oh, go to your priest. All those kind of things. For Good Friday, let's do this, and then let's go every Friday to forgive our sins. Really? Telling a man, and he's forgiving your sins? He gives them to God, and God forgives them? No, this is hell. We stay here until we work it out. Now, karma can grow constantly, or it could slowly deteriorate. You have a choice. You always did. But what I'm going to say right now is why you don't. Okay, it's based on why you're really here. Never mind who and what you really are. Soul. You can hear the word being mentioned on and off a lot now. Oh, your soul. But soul is not the mind. Buddha said differently. Buddha talked about the mind. But we're not that. When you die, your body dies, okay? Soul, that you really are, leaves. It goes to the astral plane. The average soul stays there from 5 to 10 years of our time. Time there is different. What you can do in that time frame is incredible. So hopefully you bring a spark of that back when you come back into this lifetime, which will be soon. Most people say, I want to be born back in my family, which is a possibility if your karma is just right. If you deal with karma. Meaning, well, I didn't hurt nobody, I didn't do this, blah, blah, blah. Well, I want to be born in my family. So you come back as a child of your grandfather, of your father, or your wife, or anybody that's having a child, you come back into that. But they're not going to remember who you are or know who you are, and you're not going to know who they are. So the whole purpose of you trying to believe that is useless. But again, well, I know what I'm going to do when I come back. No, you don't. You can't control what karma does to you. Nobody can. Jesus did not control karma. He told people they have to deal with it. And there's simpler ways to get rid of it than paying it off, which doesn't work. Just going around feeding homeless people doesn't work. You have to learn the only thing that matters, what God is, not what God isn't. All man talks about is what God is not. Okay, why you stay here? 2 religions use these words. 5. Okay, count them. Lust, greed, anger, vanity, and attachment. I reword it so that people can understand what they really mean. Why, I'm greedy, I'm angry. Vanity, what's angry? Vanity, what's attachment? Well, let's start it. And I'll break it down to why man stays here. Drinking and smoking, 1. Drugs, 2. Sports and cheap thrills, 3. Sex, 4. And now, obviously, the one that people think everything revolves around, LOVE, which it doesn't. All right, people, to show you that I don't think like anybody else, every speaker out there, even conversation with God, all those kind of people, oh, it's love. Love's going to change it. Love's going to do. Love does nothing. When was love created? It was created, people, 2,000 years ago. Women were slaves, always. Not that they're much better. They move forward, but they're not completely better than what they were. In a court of law, in a rape situation, any kind of situation, the man always has the upper hand. All right. What happens? All right. The mind is convinced or believes those things. Well, it's important to have sex. It's important to do drugs. Sports is so important in the United States and the world. Does it help us move forward spiritually? You know what amazes me? I was into boxing when I was young. Two boxers go into the ring. Right before they step in the ring, he's over in that corner. He's over in that corner. Dear God, protect me. Help me beat this guy up. Right? And that's right to them. So, we use words, we use our belief systems to program whatever we want to do. We're one with everything. Means I can do whatever I want because I'm in control of it. No, you're not. You can believe whatever you want. All right. What makes those things real are the five senses of the mind: taste, smell, sight, hearing, touch. All right. When it comes to sex, drinking, it's the feeling, the emotion that the mind sends through the veins and the heart and all that. Has nothing to do with soul. Soul could step out anytime it wants to. I did it for 45 years. All right. But when you do, you can look at yourself over there sitting there doing nothing. And that's all we're doing when we don't learn to move forward. All right. Love is a splintered word today. Relationships have been crashing more and more every day. Well, I did it in the name of love. A husband comes home, sees his wife in bed with somebody else, they kill him. I loved her too much. Love is a problem for a lot of things. You have a fight, you go out and do drugs, you go out and get in your car and do 100 miles an hour, which I did it once. I slipped on the gas till I guess I was doing 110 for 40 minutes straight, never took my foot off the gas. And I was hoping for a car crash, a cop, anything. All right? But I was always protected. And I could say that. But I'm still here. I had 5 death experiences. I want to leave soon. I don't want to be a witness to what's going to happen. Mary Magdalene, her daughter was here for a long time. Knights of Templar still follow her. But people don't follow the truth behind things, how the Knights of Templar were created, what they did, and all that, because they were trying to be wiped out. But then you realize, what was the wars over? The sword that stabbed Jesus? People, we take things in the wrong way always. We use it for this reality, which is a sad reality. All right. So when you go, well, it smells good, I'll eat it. I touch somebody, oh, she feels so good, or he feels so good. I love his skin. I love a smell and things like that. Really? His voice is so pretty. I mean, we go to the senses of the mind, whatever we like and whatever we do. You eat things that smell good and taste good. You don't eat things that smell horrible and taste horrible. Unless you go, well, I have to eat that or I'll die. That's a different story. But these children that go through all this programming when they're little, and then they're pulled into these words, where do they go? What do they do? Play sports? When the first person knocked another person out in the middle of the game, he should be taken out of the sport. Well, hockey was like the number one game where everybody wanted to see each other whack each other with a hockey puck and all these kind of things. Boxing's still legal in the United States. A barbaric movement of bodies to fighting. In other countries, Thai boxing is to the death. or until one person's unconscious. Today, people, morals also died. I did a lot on morals a long time ago. I mean, there was a book called Morals when I was younger, a magazine that came out. But they're gone. Take 10 people, ask them to name 10 morals. Oh, shouldn't steal and shouldn't lie. Okay, now what else? I don't know. People, we're programmed horribly. All right? And people don't want to admit it, face it, or deal with it. They're being told they're incredible now. They're six-dimensional beings. Really? And what's that mean? Well, I'm from a higher consciousness. And what's higher mean? You got in a plane and went up into space or a spaceship? Yeah, and then now you're higher. That's about it. But the last word I need to bring out, because it's what keeps 90% of most souls coming back. And that word was attention. Sorry, not attention, attachment. And attachment means attachment to your family, attachment to cars, attachment to sports, attachment to anything that you're going to feel you're going to miss. Sex. All right. All those things will keep your attention and pull you back here. Soul doesn't need any of it. Soul doesn't use any of those things. It doesn't smell and things like that. It doesn't have to. It's got a light body. It can't be killed, can't be chopped in half, can't be burnt. Like Dante's Inferno, the levels of hell and all that. It's all bull. Take what he said as the levels of hell and put it into reality. You could be burnt here, you could be frozen here, you could be chopped up. All the things he said are here. Now, when you go to the astral plane, you can't be killed. But I will tell you something that's really cool. If you get to stay there, you can pick any age you want. And it's usually between 24 and 36, somewhere around there. You could be a child, you could be an old person, whatever. Now, native teachings are, and I hate to say I studied it for a long time. Well, they will go to the green pastures. Why? That means you're programmed to stay somewhere. Soul is incredible abilities and able to do anything when it leaves the lower realms. Why? It's like saying, I'm going to live inside a cardboard box for life rather than living in a castle or a mansion or live around the planet. Mankind doesn't think forward. They don't have the ability to. They're programmed. Everything you hear is programming you. Something you need to know. When I was learning hypnosis when I was 14, I studied with one of the greatest hypnotists in the United States, who was famous. I mean, whether he was the most outrageous one or not, but he went around the United States. He did hypnosis, and he also did psychic work as well together. But I learned hypnosis at 12 and started doing it by the time I was 14. At 16, I worked with the army hypnotist who proved things that they can't admit in that world itself. You can hypnotize somebody to do anything you want them to do. How? Just tell them they're doing something else. Now, why I only bring that up, Mr. Rumpo, for a word, has his face on the internet all day, all night, every single day. All you hear is his voice, hear him. It leaks into your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind absorbs things after like 15, 20 days. So even after hearing him for half a year, guess what? You're already being programmed. It's hard not to accept that. Pull up your computer. Oh, there's his face right there. Anywhere you go, that's all you're going to hear. Even Mr. Musk with the X site, he must be on 1,000 times a day. And that's called programming. You hear something over and over, the mind will start accepting it. And it's not good, obviously. You can believe what you want. But the hypnotist I worked with when I was real young, 12 to 13, I met him twice a couple times, and within that 2 years, I meant. that he said Hitler controlled the country by the power of suggestion. He doesn't use the word hypnosis. You suggest something to somebody, and in hypnosis, when you got them hypnotized, you suggest to them, rather than saying you're going to shoot your mother, there's a being playing games, and they're walking in a body that looks like your mother, and then it's a reality. They did tests. They put a plate wall and gave a good person a gun to shoot it, and all those kind of tests to prove that you can make somebody do whatever they don't want to do if they can be hypnotized. I cannot be. But again, I had all my friends hypnotized when I was young. I had about 12 friends. They all had their own word, and I could make any one of them do anything I wanted anytime. And my friends would get together and say, well, make him do this. Let's make him do that. And I did it. I learned the hard way. All right. 2 of them said they're not going to come out of the house until I take the spell off of them. But I realized how bad it was later on. And now, if you ever go to a hypnotist, always make sure there's somebody else in the room that's your friend, not theirs. But I'm sorry, I don't want to go too long because I don't really know how long you can deal with what I'm saying. Most people can't. They don't want to go through the truth. They rather just hide in a lie that feels okay. Feeling okay is just that. And somebody said, you don't laugh a lot. When I first met my person I'm living with, oh, you don't ever laugh. I don't. Because every minute, every second, do you know what's happening every second, every minute of the day? What's happening to children? What's happening to women? Everywhere on the planet? It's disgusting, sick, pathetic, whatever word you want to use. And I'm supposed to be laughing when you get comedians telling jokes that make fun of people? We are all in a bad enough condition as it is, but to be made fun of? Like Don Knotts, Riggle, whatever, those people that attack people in the audience is horrible. Why would you pay to go to have fun and somebody's attacking you? People, we love pain and suffering. The gladiator days lasted forever because mankind likes to see war. Women too. They like to see fighting. They like to see violence. It's a violent world now. After the Garden of Eden was destroyed, which was Atlantis, we just became massive killers. Every tribe, the Egyptians, the Mayans, yes, like sacrificing and things like that. To God, God says, well, kill your son so I know that you care about me. No, we didn't. No, it didn't. You could believe the programs, and you do. You listen to church, going to any kind of a church. I almost was going to open a church, but I said no. Even though I fought that for a pretty long time. I'm a reverend. I could marry people and all that kind of stuff, but again, people don't want the truth. Tell them the truth about Jesus, they don't want to hear it. Jesus was killed. He didn't take a drug, go to sleep, and get up and go somewhere else. He was killed. People that don't know anything about truth, if I'm going to teach you about love, how can I force you to learn about love? Make you kiss somebody? Is that going to make you learn about love? Love's only 2,000 years old. Why? Because Jesus showed it to the disciples. How? By marrying Mary Magdalene. And how he related to her. She was at the table with everybody else when that all went down. I wasn't. I was super close to Mary Magdalene, but I wasn't at that table when that all went down. But again, those people, he had, 12 followers. And a few of them were part of the group of people that did have Jesus killed. They all denied him. That's the first thing you'll read in the Bible. Rather than die, they denied him. And Jesus said, give your life for God, you'll have eternal life. Try and hold on to it, you'll lose it. And when the programmed ideas in the Bible about Judas is another lie. Judas was one of Jesus' closest disciples. Judas would do anything Jesus told him to do, period, including help bring him to his death. But the problem with that was when you realize what you did, even though you did it because you were told to do it, you wonder if it was truly right or wrong. And that was the dilemma he had to deal with until he died. All right? Until he did die, okay? But people, you're programmed. You accept it. Where are you going to go from here? What better reality are you going to move into during this lifetime? I'm going to move from here to over there. It's going to be better there? No, I'll go around the planet. It's going to be better there? Like Musk, we need to go to Mars. Does he really know anything about Mars? He doesn't. He doesn't know what he's going to see when he gets there, if he ever does, which he probably won't. But why? He talks about saving the planet. All these people. Well, we're going to save our country. From what? Killing another country? We're living in hell, people. There's nothing good going on. You know, if a child's stuck in a sewer, they'll bring 100 people there to try to save that child. But the same day, we'll drop a bomb on the whole city and kill every child, woman and child that would live in that city. Morals are gone. A famous speaker on the radio, on the internet, everywhere else, I called into the show. She was on Coast to Coast, and she goes, I said, well, what about killing in another country? She goes, oh, it's okay. It's not in our country. I said, where do you come up with that? How do you assume killing's accepted somewhere else? People create ideas for themselves to be happy with whatever they do. I'm cheating because she doesn't love me no more. You can make up an excuse for anything you do. Yeah, you're one with your lies. You're not one with the rest of the world. People, you know, I always write a lot out. I don't go into any of it really ever. Just a couple notes here and there. But I hope you got something out of today. We got a lot going on. And basically, we don't have much time to get out of it. Our lifetime's short. 125 years, if you live that long. But after, like, I'm 71. After getting that age, it starts changing greatly. Days go by, time goes by, things go by. And where are you? But I had 5 death experiences, and the last one I was allowed to stay. And I said, no, I have to come out and finish another book, which I did. But I also finished another one. I'm just waiting for it to come out to publication right now. All right. But I'm not doing it for money. The title for the book is for women only. How to understand a man's ego. Meaning everything, every aspect of a man. And it's coming from a man because it was written by a woman. She wouldn't know. And they don't understand it. People, if you got anything out of this show, send a link to somebody else that you might think would want to listen or hear it. The show will be up unless they take it down. They already attacked me a couple times. They took 4 of my shows down. I'm being attacked. A lot of things are going down. The truth can't come out because people don't want to hear it. People claiming to be powerful. Well, do something incredible. They can't. And prophecy is useless, people. All through history. Prophecy, unless it's acted on, like Sodom and Gomorrah, Noah's Ark, people that did something when they got a prophecy. 2 people I know prophesied 9/11, one in great detail. All right. Neither one of them were there trying to tell people not to go in that day. Why? Prophecy only is beneficial. Billy Myers, UFO person, was given 100 prophecies from an alien race. 90 of them came true since 1950. 90 of them. But did he stop any one of them? Or change any one of them? So, you know, people think they're great. See, people think anything and want to follow them. I don't want to follow them. I know people can't deal with much truth. I don't expect them to. It's hard. Spiritual path is the most hardest path you can walk on this planet. Because every day, everything is going to be attacking you and pulling you into it. Oh, one drink. Oh, one cigarette. One this, one that, one that. I could speed. I could do that. I could do it. Do anything you want. Of course you can. But it's called karma. It pays. It builds up and becomes a big wall, which means you'll never get to stay in the astral plane. A few more things. The astral plane's incredible compared to here. You don't have to eat. You're not going to be going to the store shopping every day and things like that. And your body, you can feel super healthy, but nobody can chop your head off or anything. But it's a light body. It's your astral body. And then when you get to the next realm, your body slowly disappears from being a male or female. And most people might not even want to go into that stage and become a light being. Oh, well, that sounds cool, but what? I'm going to walk around as light and just shine on everything? People, it doesn't get easier, it gets harder. But when you attain God realization, only means you're aware of God and you and how that intertwines. But when you get to the soul plane, which is 5 up, there's 12 planes, and guess where God dwells? The 13th. All right. So, but again, when we say we're going to go this, that, and the other thing, think about it. Think about where you want to end up, what you want to attain. Money's not going to help you. Having 100 children is not going to help you. Walking through a fire might make you wake up. I mean, all those things I did and went through and all that to take another step. But if you're not willing to push yourself harder than you ever pushed before, you'll reincarnate and start all over. Just think about that. You reincarnated what? 300 times, and you're going to come back again and not know anything. How about, no, I'm going to learn some stuff so I don't have to come back. Well, then I won't be with my family. I won't be this. Your family won't be here anyway. And when you come back, you're going to be a baby. So you're not going to be saying, hey, Dad, hey, Mom, hey, sis, hey, bro. No, you're not. Think about it. There's simple things, not simple in reality, but ways you really need to understand and think about if you want to attain something greater. All right, people, I kept you around. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. Send this link to anybody you know. Let them decide if they want to hear it or not. They delete it. They don't go. That's a problem. How many do you go into a day and don't want to listen to them? Even if you're going to listen to, well, this food is poisonous, and you got to listen to a half hour to find out what food is poisonous. Just tell me what it is, and if it's interesting, I'll listen to it. People, you can't be forced into love. So Jesus couldn't teach love. Protection? Well, he was killed. His people were going to even defend him, and he said, no, don't. But again, what they did to him, he never said he was God. No matter what went down. And he only said, you can call me whatever you want. But he never said it himself, never said he was God. At that time, nobody knew what a God was. There were multiple gods. Jesus came to teach there is one God, only. One God. That's it. And how to get there, which no religion does, except Shabd Yoga and Ekankar. Shabd Yoga is old, but Ekankar came from Shabd Yoga, so it's an old teaching brought to a newer reality. But they're both the same teaching, but they also lock into certain things that pull it back into the physical world. Having a master, all right, that means you're being controlled. Having a president, you're being controlled. Learn about the Constitution. Learn about what the electoral votes really are, people. And you allow it. Electoral votes meant the rich people had the power to stop poor people from voting. And Jefferson said, oh, you can't do that. So that's why they have both. But the electoral votes overpower the people's vote. People, you're controlled. Controlled fools. Because you're not shown any truth. Go outside the box. Do what you have to do. I tell people, if you have to do LSD one time, do it. Because it'll open up something in your mind, at least, that was not opened ever before. All right? Drugs aren't the beneficial way to get anywhere. But sometimes it takes a shock. It takes... Benny Brinkley said he was hit by lightning 3 times. He was hit by lightning once. He almost died once, not 3 times. But listen to his story. I faced him face to face, and he had to admit it. I'm not going to go into it because it's pretty horrible, some of his stuff. But he's the only person that I know that I met saying And he said this in front of 13 people. I'm a Luciferian from the 1700s. I got tons of karma that I have to pay. I'll reincarnate as many times as I have to, which he does and will. But he admitted it and faced it and didn't hide from it, which helps in his karma. If you don't admit you have karma, you'll never pay it off. Okay, people, I hope you got something out of this all, one way or another. But Tommy Hawksblood here. You want to write me? Hawksblood1, AOL.com. Skype me on Hawksblood11. Please, I answer all my emails, one way or another, good, bad, or indifferent. I only started getting bad mail recently because of a certain reason. You know, people get jealous. People that are nobodies that want to be a somebody, or somebody that thinks they're better than everybody else. Either way, Musk, Gates, and all those super famous people. Zimmerberg, I didn't even say his name. Zimmerberg, whatever. These people that are multimillionaires and billionaires have no clue how to move forward spiritually and don't even want to. Saving the planet by going to Mars. Really controlling an internet. But then again, you're all controlled. I mean, at least Musk has a site where you can say anything you want. People, you want to go on the site to say whatever you want, go on that site. I do. I put about at least 20, 30 emails on that site every day. Well, I'm just waiting for my book to be printed. So people, enjoy your life, enjoy your eternity, whether it's here or somewhere else. Remember, there's always a step to move forward, no matter where you are. And listening to anybody is not going to make it better. Experience truth, experience God, what it allows you to, will change everything within you. You won't become an evil, vicious being or whatever, thinking you're the greatest. You don't become an angel. Don't become superpowered, ever. If you attain ascension, you're only allowed to go through it because you attain the level of awareness that allows you to do it. Okay, people, I can go on forever, but I know you don't have forever. You got 125 years max. Till next time, Tommy Hawksblood here. Tune into my show on Tuesdays. It's always View to the UFO world and stuff, which I didn't even get into much today. But it's very dangerous right now. And mankind's being pulled and believed all kinds of stupid things. But even, I have to say this, Snowden came out with the most ridiculous video last week talking about aliens and government. He has no clue what he's saying. He never experienced it. He shouldn't be talking about it. All right? With that, again, till next time, people.